Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Hessam Parzivand, he's in our studios here today at The Price of Business. I'm looking forward to talking to him. One of the hot issues out there always is employment law, and we're delighted to have him on as our guest today to talk about that important issue. And welcome to the program.
Thanks so much.
Why don't we start off with a little bit about your background before we get into the whole area of employment law, which is so crucial. Texas has been very blessed with a very robust and growing economy, and as a result, lots of opportunity for employment conflict issues. But let's talk a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bit of a background about you.
Yes, I graduated from Louisiana State University in human resource management. I actually hold a certification, professional and human resources certification, then went on to law school at the University of Houston and graduated there, worked for an employment law firm for a few years, and then decided to go out on my own.
Yeah, and that's a big decision. What made you go ahead and do that so soon?
I felt like it was good timing. I was working up in the woodlands, and one thing that was good was I have a lot of friends who were starting to start up their own firms, and I felt like if I didn't come back to Houston within a certain time period, I would kind of lose those contacts because being up in the woodlands, I couldn't have lunch with business lunches with those people, and ended up settling down actually in Sugarland. Is where my main practice is located, though I do have an office in Houston as well.
Interesting. And so, and how's it gone?
It's been going pretty good. I mean, 18 months in, I feel pretty good about the law firm as a whole. I think at first it was a question of if I would succeed. I think now I feel like it's more of a question of how much success I'll have. So.
That's good. That's good. That's where everyone wants to be, obviously. No question about it. Tell us a little bit about what your experiences are showing you as far as the employment law environment in Texas, and particularly the Houston area.
Well, as you know, the energy industry is having a lot of layoffs. So I do represent both plaintiffs and defendants, and as a result, I've seen people call me about severance packages and things to that effect. I have employers who call me about those types of issues too, and it is, I mean, the oil service industry as a whole is obviously really getting hit hard, and I do see that in the calls that I'm getting.
Yeah, actually in the tens of thousands now have been laid off. It's extraordinary when you consider where we were just a little over a year ago, and all of the stall cranes that now surround the city of buildings that were being built and aren't being built now. So it's an interesting situation. What percentage of your business is in the energy-related fields?
Energy, I would take a guess somewhere in the 20% range. Involves energy companies. I mean, the good thing about Houston too is we are relatively diversified, at least versus where we were, 20, 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, in employment law, there is no discrimination. We take all comers.
Yeah, right. And that was my next question. You're not interested necessarily in working in any particular verticals. You work in all areas related to employment law.
That is correct. I mean, there's probably like some employee benefits issues. That's kind of a very niche area. Like I wouldn't administer a 401k plan. But for example, if somebody complained about their 401k plan and then got fired, I would be able to bring a retaliation suit on their behalf.
If you want to mention the website, the best way of learning more is just by going to parzfirm.com. P-A-R-Z as in zoo, firm.com. And so what would you say is the most interesting case you've worked on to date?
I mean, there are a lot of very, very interesting cases. I think, sexual harassment definitely presents some of the most interesting circumstances as a whole, but I don't want to comment on specifics because that could make my client identifiable.
Right, yeah, but I would assume that, and what percentage of your business relates to particularly sexual harassment areas? Or discrimination?
Discrimination and retaliation is a good 70%.
Wow.
And then overtime would probably be another 20%. And then the remaining 10 would be employee handbooks and non-compete agreements and things of that sort.
Yeah, employee handbooks pretty important, aren't they?
Yes, very, 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 very important thing to have. In particular, one thing I would recommend for all employers is having a no cell phones while driving policy. Because God forbid your employee hit a pedestrian or something and they're on their cell phone, and then suddenly you, the company, is going to be held liable.
Hessam Parzivand, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's great what you're doing, and glad to have you as a guest. Again, the website, PARZFIRM.com, and look forward to hearing about what you got going on in the future.
All right. Thanks so much.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter, and this is The Price of Business.